We also have essential fatty acids. This is where I would stop and say, does anybody have any questions? What I want you to do is think about those questions, write them down, and when we see each other, you can please ask them. Then we have essential fatty acids, and let's look at how they may be involved in maintaining heart health. Essential fatty acids, as you recall, are the fatty acids that the body doesn't make or doesn't make enough of, and that if they're taken out of the diet, you develop specific deficiency symptoms. So we have omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids that are considered essential. The specific omega-3 is linolenic on the bottom, and the one on top, linoleic, is an omega-6 fatty acid. If you recall, the designation of the omega has to do with where the first double bond is found in the carbon chain. So the omega-6 fatty acid has the double bond at the number 6 carbon. The omega-3 fatty acid has the double bond at the number 3 carbon. Where do you get these omega-3 fatty acids from? Animal sources is a big source for the EPA and the DHA. You don't need to know their specific functions, and animal products provide us with EPA and DHA. This is cocktail chatter in terms of how much should you have in your diet. If you are getting your omega-3s from animal sources like fatty acids or supplements, this is the amount you should get. If you're getting them from non-animal sources, you need more. Good sources and best sources. Other factors in heart disease: for some people, taking high doses of niacin can increase your good cholesterol and decrease your bad cholesterol. Please don't do this at home. The high amount, the niacin that's prescribed as a medication, is not the kind that's found over the counter. There are statin-type lowering drugs that can help improve cholesterol numbers and reduce risk, because where they work is at the level of the liver where cholesterol is synthesized. Then there are these spreads. Have any of you ever tried them? They're called, well, one of them is called Benecol, and it contains a type of fat called a stanol ester that does actually reduce absorption of cholesterol from the digestive tract, and you wind up excreting it. What you need to keep in mind is that it is a fat and it does contain 9 calories per gram. So it's not something that you would add to your diet, but it may be something that you would substitute for, let's say, butter or margarine. Cancer is the number 2 leading cause of death in Americans. And as I said before, it kind of goes back and forth with heart disease. Cancer is characterized by uncontrolled cell growth. Cells just divide and divide and divide. They ignore the signals to stop dividing. For example, red blood cells usually last about 3 months, and then they're replaced in the bone marrow. The cells in your stomach are usually replaced every 3 days, but when you have cancer, they don't die. The process by which cancer grows is called initiation, promotion, and progression. We refer to the process of cancer formation as carcinogenesis, genesis meaning the formation of cancer. We have a normal cell on the left that may be affected by X-rays, ultraviolet light, hormonal changes, and this may initiate changes that result in the mutation of your DNA, changing the types of cells that are being produced. So initiation results in the formation of abnormal cells. Now we do have processes in our body that can help repair that damage. But if that damage isn't replaced over time, that time is called the promotion stage, that the cells continue to get damaged and they continue to divide. And this can be decades. And then it may progress to uncontrolled cell growth. Once those cells progress to cancer cells, then you have a concern about pieces of that cancer breaking off and getting into the bloodstream and traveling to other parts of the body. This process is called metastasis. With respect to nutrition and cancer risk, I can tell you that I know that smoking tobacco can increase risk, that there are lifestyle factors that increase risk, but there's lots of maybes and possiblies. There are a lot of different factors, but I can't tell you that dietary fat itself raises cancer risk. The American Institute for Cancer Research actually published in their Foods That Fight Cancer, they say no single food or food component can protect you, but that foods can be, as I keep saying, a marker for reducing risk. Laboratory studies, minerals, vitamins, plant chemicals may have anti-cancer effects in laboratory studies. That's a direct effect, foods that can directly in laboratory studies. Indirectly, well, it's thought that excess body fat may increase the risk for certain cancers. But this is why we recommend increasing your vegetables and fruits, increasing whole grains and beans, because those can also help reduce weight, and weight may be a risk factor for cancer. The thing is, cancer isn't any one disease. In the meantime, since I'm not telling you what fats not to eat, let me just give you some overall suggestions for risk reduction, because your eating pattern is only one of many factors, as I keep saying, that it may be a marker for a lifestyle that can affect disease risk. In the meantime, if we want to talk about nutrition and risk reduction, you can have a look at this slide. The American Institute for Cancer Research recommends trying to be as lean as possible, but not underweight. That has its own risk factors for disease. Try to be active every day. Try to limit food and drinks that promote weight gain. Try to increase your intake of plant foods. Limit alcohol consumption. And watch the amount of preserved, processed, and prepared foods. Dietary supplements, not so much. We recommend eating a variety of whole foods rather than taking pills. Don't smoke. And please have a look at this, because it shows the different diets that are out there and how they may be related to risk of disease. So we looked at how fat is involved in heart disease risk. And we looked at, well, we didn't talk about fat and cancer risk, but here are some guidelines for recommendations to help reduce your risk for developing cancer. All right, folks, see you later.